am Dr. B. Vinmayil, Assistant Professor of English, V.V. Vanyaperumal College for Women, Virudhunagar. Today we are going to see one of the types of drama, comedy. Comedy is the usual term we are familiar with. Day-to-day life we use those terms related to comedy and comic scenes. We watch so many comical scenes every day. But in drama, especially in literature, we have different types of comedy, and each comedy has a set of conventions to be followed. Let's see one by one. First, we can see what is a comedy. A comedy has only one main purpose. The major purpose of writing comedy or enacting comedy on stage is to amuse the audience and to entertain them. Any work of art has two functions. For example, there are so many functions of poetry, function of drama. The main purpose of writing a work of art on literature is to entertain or to instruct. A work of art or a piece of writing can entertain a set of audience or readers or instruct them, moralize them. Comedy is specifically written to amuse the audience. The spectators get delight after watching the comical scenes enacted by the actors and actresses. The comedy satisfies the human instinct for mischief. The playwright tries to derive delight from harmless tricks played on the characters. Therefore, as the playwright focuses only on delight and pleasure, we can call it as amusement, he doesn't bother about the outcome, that is appealing to emotions, sense, intellect. So there is always the absence of deep sympathy, as we can see in tragedy. In tragedy, the main purpose is to evoke pathos and fear. But in comedy, the main purpose is to entertain and delight. So there is an absence of emotional appeal and intellectual appeal. Each and every situation seems to be dangerous to the characters, but they are of no great threat to them. So, as the playwright has to focus on the entertainment part of the comedy, he gives least importance to moral. But it is not that comedy is highly immoral. So, it's better to say comedy is neither morally useful nor immoral. And there are few types of comedy which we are going to see today. These are the few types of comedy. Let's see one by one. First one is the romantic comedy. What we see as romances today have the earlier forms as romantic comedy. The golden era for drama is the Elizabethan era. In England, the Elizabethan playwrights write about all genres, tragedy and comedy. Under comedy, they have written romantic comedy. Romantic comedy represents the course of love between the boy and the girl. It's merely a story of boy meets a beautiful girl. But this course of love won't be smooth at all. They have to come across too many difficulties. And it is the plot which describes their path to marriage. These two lovers will overcome those difficulties and finally they meet up in marriage. So there will be a union, reconciliation of family, union of the lovers, and so there will be music, dance, party, and there are two examples for romantic comedy from Elizabethan drama. Thomas Lodge's Rosalind, Shakespeare's As You Like It. Let's go to the next type, that is comedy of humors. It is also developed by one of the famous Elizabethan dramatists, Ben Jonson. He is the contemporary of Shakespeare. His writings are overshadowed by Shakespeare's plays and fame. His genre of writing is called comedy of humors because he is the one who developed it. In his Every Man in His Humor play, he has written an introduction which elaborately discusses about this type of comedy. It's mostly based on the ancient physiological theory. In physiological theory, in our body, we have 4 fluids which run from top to bottom. These 4 fluids determine a person's character. It is what Ben Jonson wants to convey through his plays. These 4 liquids are blood, phlegm, choler and melancholy. Blood is also called as sanguine. Phlegm is a mucus which is secreted from throat or lungs. And choler is a yellow bile which is bitter in taste. Melancholy is a black bile. Bile is a liquid. When we vomit it, we will be having a watery greenish or brownish liquid, that is bile. And Ben Jonson says that the eccentricity of a character whom we meet everyday life, their behavior is mainly because of the imbalance of one of the fluids in the ear body. For example, if any one of the fluids are dominant in their body, their characteristic will be one such. It may be highly an eccentric one. Therefore, the imbalance of one or another humor here stands for the fluid in physical body determines the temperament of or disposition of the particular person. So the playwright will be writing about that eccentricity which leads to the folly of the character. Here these are the 4 list of fluids which determine the person's character. For example, if sanguine, the blood is excellent or excess, the person will be optimistic, enthusiastic, lively and sociable. And there are 4 elements, natural elements, which are related to these fluids. Blood is related to air. And phlegm, the second fluid, is like water. The person will be listless and apathetic because they won't be very conscious of doing something. They will be highly tired and energyless. So they are unenthusiastic to do anything. They are highly reckless people. And thirdly, we have choler. This choler is like fire. The people will be highly aggressive. And melancholy is the 4th fluid. It's like earth. It's the black bile. And the person who is having excess melancholic fluid will be highly depressive. And then we have satiric comedy. Satire simply means ridiculing one's folly and provoke laughter by ridiculing at their follies or mistakes and keeping them in an embarrassing situation. The people will be laughing at that character. So satiric comedy is a type of drama which ridicules at people's folly or any one political or philosophical doctrine. And it laughs at people who violate some social standards. And the pioneer of this satiric comedy is the Greek dramatist Aristophanes. Even in Elizabethan period also we have Ben Jonson's Volpone and The Alchemist, which can be called satiric comedy, but they are called as corrective comedy because they just deal with the people who are highly greedy, ingenuine, who act as swindlers, and it also deals with the victims of these swindlers. And next we have the type comedy of manners. Manners is a quality which a person gains when he is highly sociable with others. This particular play deals with the relations and intrigues of men and women in upper class society. The hero of this type of plays is highly well brought up, well born and well dressed, highly witty too. The heroine is highly equivalent to, and she acts as a tough opponent to the hero. She is considered as the paradox of all virtues and affectations. And they are surrounded, the heroine and the hero are surrounded by a set of people who are half-witted. And these people strongly hit at the social and moral codes. They are not at all for following or adhering to the principles of the society or the decorum of the moral, decorum of the society. So they don't bother about the moral codes. And restoration comedy comes under this comedy of manners. The early master of this type of comedy of manner is Molière. He is a French dramatist. Based on his plays, the restoration playwrights, namely Congreve, Wycherley, write their plays. The Way of the World is the most famous drama of William Congreve. And later on we have the importance of being earnest, and most of the Bernard Shaw's plays come under this comedy of manners. And these playwrights want to satirize the lifestyle of the people of their contemporary age. But when they aim to present their life by holding a mirror to the society, they just overstepped the bounds of decency. Therefore, the dialogues, the witty dialogues are the major component of this comedy of manners. The repartee, the exchange of dialogues between the hero and heroine are more popular than any other dialogues in other genres, other types. There will be a wordplay, witty wordplay between the heroine and the hero. When they talk casually, they just avoid the bounds of decency, and therefore people of their contemporary age itself found immorality and indecency in their dialogues. That's why we have the second genre or type, sentimental comedy. This type of comedy is a response to the restoration comedy. It's more like a middle class reaction against the upper class representation in restoration comedy. These middle class people just react against what they have considered as immorality of situation and indecency of dialogue in comedy of manners. In one of the plays or one of his prose work, Oliver Goldsmith has supported restoration comedy as well as sentimental comedy in the words as these playwrights, they just want to present the virtues of private life and not the vices. So they talk about the private or sex life of the upper class people, but not about the vices they have. And come to the sentimental comedy, it is abound with dialogues that are studded with moral sentiments. Therefore, the audience will be provoked pleasurable tears rather than laughter. And one of the best examples is Richard Steele's The Conscious Lovers. And next we have the type of farce. And this is the last one. And this farce aims to provoke a simple laughter which is very hearty one. The audience will be laughing to the heart, to the core, to the heart. And therefore it is called belly laughs. The scenes are written with high exaggeration. There will be a caricature type of characters. They will be put in an improbable and ludicrous situations. This definitely provoke laughter to the audience. The comic effect is created not more by the broad humor which can be expressed through the bursting action, but by the sustained brilliance and wit of the dialogues. The best example of this genre is Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest and Bernard Shaw's prologue to The Lion and the Androcles and the Lion. And thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.